Yeah, greetings, in the Most High. Yeah, today we was to do a live video, but the feed is so messed up that we have to do the video on without being live. Yeah, and we're going to do the video today on ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease they call it. And there's the baseball player called Lou Gehrig died from the disease in 1939. And that's how they named the disease after him, called ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. And it's a rare disease, but it's affecting a lot of people. And it's a disease that affects the nervous system. It's something like multiple sclerosis and, you know what I mean, muscular dystrophy. Alright? We're going to tell you what caused that disease now. Because we have a patient here from abroad who is here to try to help us to get him better. Alright? And we have my brother here, King Ajamu, hanging with me today. You know, he came and do some acupuncture, and he came a long way also. You know what I mean? So we helping Jamu to get back his vibe together, you know? Yeah, man. So how you feeling, Bridget?
I'm smiling.
Feeling better now?
I'm feeling better now.
Yeah, that's good, yo.
Yes.
Yes. And this brother is very strong because, you know, he had a very I think we mentioned, or the friend I was talking about on the GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome, that's what you had.
Yes, yeah.
Guillain-Barré syndrome, and you know, he was debilitated for a while, but now he's walking, he's driving, he's talking.
Doing everything
but smiling for now. But
Which we're going to make me
We're going to make him smile eventually, you know? Yeah. Because that's affect the nerves, and when the nerve is affected, we have to try to get the nerves back together again. So what we're doing is we're giving some Ajamu some acupuncture with the very small needles here, and going into the face, and then we're doing some moxbuction, moxa, and we're using some nervines. We're going to tell you what the herbs are. To have them back is nervous, and I think you're feeling the face now. You know?
Yes, yeah.
So that's a good thing. But we want to thank some of the doctors that really helped you, because we don't want to leave out the medical system, because they're there for a purpose. As I said, they picked up the infectious disease that he had. And, you know, as herbalists, we don't have these equipment to pick up these things. So thanks to the doctors too that picked it up and had him on his feet, you know what I mean? But we just helping him to maintain his health, you know, and tell him to move around and build back up the nervous system. So that's why the medical system and naturopathic medicine or herbal medicine have to work together. It's all about, you know, helping each other. That's how I try to function. And our trip to Antigua was very important. We met the minister, the prime minister, and we're going to do some medical tourism in the Caribbean soon. We had lots of our people got involved, and we're getting up the minister of health in Antigua, the minister of education, the prime minister himself, and we're going to have a hub carrying over people from not only from here to Trinidad, but from here to also Antigua. Okay, medical tourism we call it. Today we're going to talk about ALS, and we're going to talk about building up the blood for people who have cancer and taking cancer treatment, chemotherapy, and have low HBs. Because once you're taking chemo, or once you are a cancer survivor or a person who has cancer, your HB drops to 10 and 9. And instead of going and take a blood transfusion, we're going to teach you what you can do to build the blood, right? But let's talk about ALS first. Lou Gehrig died from that disease. David Niven died from that disease in 1983, I believe. And Jacob Javits, who was a senator in New York, died from that disease. And there's a few football players who have it. Yeah? Alright, it's called Lou Gehrig's disease, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. That's the name of it. It affects the brain stem. And why does it affect the brain stem? There was lots of research not being done in America. I'm always telling people, all the research is not being done in America. The research is being done in either Germany, Japan, and these places by doctors. Now, research proved that ALS is caused by a deficiency of magnesium in the brainstem and an accumulation of aluminum in the brain stem. So we know that what have aluminum? We know that deodorant have it. You have aluminum foils, you have aluminum pots, and all those are culprits. Plus, we want to talk about nuts. lots of the time, if you want to repair ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, you can't use nuts that don't have the shells. Because lots of the nuts that they have on the market is out of the shell. They rinse it, they put salt in there, they put lye, L-Y-E, and also they bleach them also to keep them on the shelf and have a long shelf life. So you have to know what nuts you're going to use. So once you have ALS, you can't use these nuts that full of lye and also chemicals and a lot of this salt. That's number one. Number two, you have to stay away from caffeine and smoke and all these chemicals that cause you to have more troubles in the brain, okay? So that is something that people should know. Leave the nuts alone if they're not from the shell. All right, very significant if you have ALS. Right. Now when you have ALS, magnesium is needed by calcium to move. Okay? So if you have a lot of calcium in the body and there is not enough magnesium to guide your calcium, calcium ends up being, it accumulates in the brain stem, and then it starts to affect the myelin. That is the part of the nerve system that, like a wiring that helps to cover the shape. Once there is an accumulation of calcium in the brain, without being moved by magnesium, that calcium starts to destroy the myelin, the covering of the wire that helps the nervous system to stay with. Once that happens, you start losing your motor skills. You start losing, it affects the spinal column. You start to have trouble with muscle weakness in your hands, and also the nerves start being affected. All right. Also, if there is an accumulation of aluminum in the brain stem, aluminum also depletes lots of magnesium in the brain, and then it sets you up of getting the disease called ALS or Lou Gehrig syndrome. All right. So how do we go about helping a patient who have it and lost the movements of the muscles, and also of some people can't speak, because after a while the whole body becomes paralyzed from ALS, and once the body becomes paralyzed, then automatically everything shuts down. Even you can't speak, you can't move, and then eventually the doctors give you 3 to 5 years to live. And this brother here will tell you, because he had similar problem with GBS, right, where you couldn't speak and
yes.
And you couldn't move.
Speak, but yeah,
you're speaking slowly.
Yes, and exactly that explanation that you give with the muscle and the insulation around the muscle. This is exactly what happened to me.
What happened to you right now?
Yes.
Right. So then you need the nerve, because you need the nerves in order for the muscles to contract. You need the nerves.
Definitely. If
the nerves don't work well, you won't have muscle contraction. And again, the nerve cells is one of the hardest cells to regenerate in the body. That's why we always tell people don't get trouble in the nerves, because it takes a longer time. But God put nerves on the earth that help to build the nerves back up, right? We're going to talk about those. But when you had your GBS, Ajamu, you had trouble with movements of the muscles.
the muscles. Up to this point, our eyes still cannot shut like tight.
You can't shut your eyes right now.
Yeah.
And all this come from muscle and nerve contraction. But we're going to fix up my brethren. In another month or two, you're going to see him closing his eyes and he's going to smile.
Yes.
Because we sing. And sing too. Because we're fixing them up, you know, at the end of the day, yeah? So when you have ALS, you have to try to get yourself organized with magnesium. And you have to look at free radicals, because Dr. Harden, who did a study on ALS patients, he found that 80% of the patients who died from ALS had an accumulation of calcium in the brain stem and lacking of magnesium. Those are research. So he was shunned by the medical system, but now they realize that also free radicals damages the nerves in the brain stem too, if there is an accumulation of aluminum and calcium in the brain. So here what we do, we try to build back up the nerves, and we try to build back up the muscles, and we try to put the patient on a cleansing program. That's what we do with the patient who have ALS that's here. My brother, you're going to meet him soon. And we clean the body up, clean the blood up, because the blood is very significant, and we use nervines that God put on the earth to build back up the nervous system, and here is one of them. Now, when we use the old-fashioned Quaker oats, right over here, we don't drink the oats. Now, the train station, all them train that people built in America was built by slaves. They use a lot of oatmeal water. And the oat, because it's oat straw, and this helps to build the nervous system, but it also works on the endocrine glands. Alright, especially the adrenal glands. If you have stress, you can use it too. We give them lots of this, oatmeal water. And you mix the oatmeal water with a herb called lady slipper, another herb called skullcap, another herb called horta, another herb called wild yam, another herb called wood betony, to help because wood betony helps to deal with not only the nervous system but also the muscles. These are the herbs we use to help to regenerate the nervous system. And what we try to do is use lots of vitamin C and selenium to remove the amount of free radicals that is damaging the brain stem. And we increase the amount of potassium in the blood, so that the potassium can move the calcium, the excessive amount of calcium, from the system. Alright, back up now. That's what we do. And then what I try to do with ALS patients is get a doctor who is trained in nutrition to put 10 to 15,000 of buffered vitamin C in the patient's arm, because that also helps to not only get rid of free radicals but also to help to fix the nervous system and prevent the tissues from being damaged by the ALS or the Gehrig disease. Now, how many doctors do that? They give you 3 years to live. You understand? And then we give you 2,000 micrograms of the B12 vitamin. We give you 500 milligrams of the B2 vitamin. We give you 500 milligrams of the B1 vitamin. And we give you 100 milligrams of all the Bs mixed together. Yeah. So you got to stay away from caffeine, smoke, chemicals in the foods, and nuts that have a lot of lye and bleach. These nuts that don't have no shells. If you have ALS, you can't use them because they're going to make the condition even worse. And then you have to use lots of magnesium, 1,200 milligrams per day, with calcium, and make the magnesium move the calcium out of the brain stem. And do an aluminum test to see if you have a toxic effect of aluminum in the brain stem. That is significant. And then when you start to do all these things, you're going to see that your muscles start to get back strong, because the wood betony, which is the herb that helps with the muscle contraction, you're going to see your muscles getting strong and all the nervines, and day by day you will get strong enough and you'll be able to get your voice back. Alright, that's how we try to repair ALS or Lou Gehrig syndrome. Alright? Second one is blood building of people who have cancer. Lots of cancer patients have low blood or low HB. So we're going to make a little drink here to show the cancer patient when you're taking your chemo. If you're going to take your chemo now, I don't really promote it, but if you're taking chemotherapy and your blood level drop, your HB drops to 8 and 9, that's low. We're going to show you how to build it back up by helping the spleen to make the blood and helping your liver to store the blood. Alright, so we're going to get some alkaline water here and put the water in the blender. Yeah? And then when you put the water in the blender, we're going to put some sorrel. Sorrel have 18% iron, organic iron. You understand? And 18% potassium and 50% magnesium. So you have to use sorrel when you have ALS also. Put it in a blender there. And put it with some red pepper. And put it with some beets. Yeah? You understand? And then we're going to put a little bit more water. And make sure the water is distilled. Don't forget, the water must be distilled. And then we're going to blend it up. Yeah? But now everything ready is good for the blood now. Now, when we blend, with the pot over there. When we blend, we are going to strain. Let me show you the trick now. Now when you strain, yeah, you strain it, you are going to get all the fiber from the soil and from the beets. Yeah? When you get that, when you strain that, you're going to, don't throw it away now. You're going to put that inside here in a little bowl. Yeah? You can put a little bit of ginger inside here and mix it up and drink that. We're going to put that in the bowl right here. The fiber part of it, that is. You stir it up, and then we're going to put a little bit molasses inside here. Stir it up with some molasses. So you have your beets fiber, you have your soil fiber, and you have your red pepper sap fiber. And you can use some nettle leaf, yellow rock root to help the liver to absorb the iron. And then you put a little bit of your molasses, which have lots of magnesium also, it builds the blood. And some Romania, it's a Chinese plant. And then you could use it and eat it, you know. Tail that, G. Yeah, man. Yeah. And that builds the blood too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. And you're drinking your soil. If you have cancer and taking chemotherapy, you can do all these basic things, man, and go put them, don't throw them, boil it, and throw the soil away. You can use the soil with some molasses, build the blood, help the spleen, help the liver, with some nettle leaf, some yellow dock roots, and lots of black and red grapes with the seeds now. And you blend them and use them if you are taking chemotherapy, and if you have breast cancer, to help the receptors to back off the excessive amount of man-made estrogen that affects a woman on a regular basis. Okay? So these are things that we can use naturally to build back up the blood if you're taking chemotherapy, or if you are a cancer patient. Because mostly all cancer patients have low HBs. And these are things that you can use naturally to help to build back up your blood and stay well instead of taking trihemic and all them stuff that make you become constipated. And if you have ALS, get your nervines, get your raw oatmeal, boil it and throw the water out, strain it out, and drink the water regularly, and your nerves will build back up, and then you will be able to fix ALS with the help of the Most High. Yeah, Jay?
Give thanks.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We're getting them back on track.
Back on track.
Yeah, to take the king
on the road again.
On the road again, to take the Caruso king from the big man. Been going there again at all. Going there still.
We're going to make music.
We're going to make music. Alright, wonderful. And all the greens over here, all the greens, don't forget all the greens. Get all your greens and use them. And your reds. You know what I mean? Because that is why they're here on the earth for us to use for healing, okay? Alright.
Green and reds.
Blessed love. So now you know what you can do to help it to prevent ALS, and also if you have ALS, you can also help to fix it by using your nervines and working with herbs that works on the muscles. This is very significant, see? And it tastes good, AJ?
Give me the bowl.
Tastes good, build your blood up, man. Have a lot of potassium. And all those things that come from nature. People have to learn to practice these basic principles to stay well. Because we are losing too much of our people in the Caribbean to cancer and different ailments that we never had before. And that's why we need to increase a one Caribbean, where we trade among ourselves and keep our money in the Caribbean, because ain't nobody going to help us eventually. We have to help ourselves. And that is the reason why I teach one Caribbean, one Africa. Because at the end of the day, we are our brother's keeper. Give thanks and praise to the Most High. Jay, thanks for coming back. Blessed. Blessed.
Blessed.
Blessed. Yes, sir.